Welcome to the Secret Underground Laboratory Recovery and Salvage, where rude mechanicals do magic. Hello, I'm Bronze Age, Director of the Secret Underground Laboratory Recovery and Salvage. And today we're going to rebuild a Gone with the Wind lamp. This style lamp goes back to the days of Queen Victoria, when it would have been an oil lamp filled with whale oil. But apparently, when the movie Gone with the Wind came out, these things were in the background, and so lamp manufacturers started making them electric. Now, the original one, this would have been the tank for the kerosene. The burner would have been here. A regular, familiar kerosene lamp chimney went there, and then the big glass globe went over that. Now, how that gave any light that anybody could actually use for more than, avoiding falling over a chair in the dark or something, I don't know. But with electric lights, they're a little more useful. And this one, I'm going to have to figure out what's wrong with it and take care of it. This particular lamp was probably built in the 70s. This looks like the original cord, which tends to get a little brittle with time. Plug's been replaced one time before. And plug it in, that lights up. But the switch has lost all its click, so something's broken in there. And this is actually a night lamp, which I don't think that bulb's any good anymore. Usually when they have a black spot on the side of it, that's a bad sign. Well, we got them both on. Night light alone. And then, yeah. That's no good. Nobody's going to like that. Okay, this gets put off to the side someplace where Rui can't knock it off the bench. Now this is not your regular lamp socket, because if you notice there's actually 3 screws on the side where the wires go. Because this is a 2-position switch, which means it controls 2 light bulbs. The night light down at the bottom and the dimmer up on the top. And this is a hickey socket, because this little bitty metal bracket right there on the bottom is called a hickey. That's a technical electrical hardware term. I don't know who invented it. Maybe William Hickey was the inventor of them or something like that. And as luck would have it, I don't have this exact socket. So I think I'm going to have to look into the vast parts inventory of the Secret Underground Laboratory and come up with something that will work just as well. This is a nightlight socket, which fits in the familiar socket shelf, and I think that will make a good substitute for this. I like to put the thread locking compound on these here, because the unscrewing a light bulb is the same action as required for taking a lamp apart, which is why you see so many lamps that are all loose and wobbly. It's because while unscrewing the light bulb, it also unscrewed all the other parts of the lamp. Then someone goes and tries to put it back together by twisting it in the opposite direction, And what you end up with is the cord getting twisted up like a candy cane, and sometimes even rubbing through at the steel parts. Never good. One of the problems with this kind of a lamp, and there are a lot of lamps like this one, is that the glass, people try to use it as part of the structure, which means that you're building this kind of like a string of beads in order to get the pieces here to not twist and be all loose. They have to tighten it down pretty tight. And of course, a piece of glass like this, you just can't tighten it down pretty tight. Because anything tight enough to keep it from getting loose is going to be tight enough to break it or crack it. So what I do is I've got this extra nut right here, so that when I tighten down this one, I've actually just got the glass captured between these two plates, but no matter how much I tighten this down, I can't crush the glass, which is why I put this little dab of silicone on the top and the bottom. Once that cures, that will keep the glass from twisting around. And since the cord comes out the bottom here without showing anything, there really is no front or back except for where I put the key. One of the added joys of a wiring a nightlight lamp is that you've got to get 4 wires into a pipe where it was originally intended for 2. So I'm trying to solder a smaller wire to it and use it to lit up the pipe. Ordinarily you would just be able to push this up in there without any trouble. It'd come out the top, but the 4 wires, it's a little tight fit, and each ½ inch that you push it up, there's just a little bit more friction. And even though it feels like it's going to go in, when you start, you get halfway up and you just can't push it any farther. A lot easier than I thought it would. Be grateful for small blessings. One important detail when you're doing this kind of work, often that gets neglected, is that wire like this, which is probably 20 or 30 little tiny strands, can't be put underneath a screw terminal because it'll just squeeze it. The little strands of wire will eventually work out. So to combat that problem, the ends of the wires have to be tinned or coated in solder. When I take a lamp apart, that's one way I know that there's been an amateur working on it. So the wires are displayed out in every particular direction. Another sign of amateur work is it doesn't have this cute little bow tie knot underneath the socket. And that serves a very, very important purpose. This is called the underwriter's loop, underwriter's knot. And its function is that if somebody is walking through the dark and they kick the cord and jerk the lamp off the table. This prevents the wire from being pulled down the steel pipe, pulling the wires out from underneath the terminal screws, and then suddenly you've got an electrified lamp just waiting for somebody to pick it up and put it back up on the end table. No fun at all. So, all these strange little pieces of lamp trivia are designed to keep from setting something on fire or killing somebody. The socket has 3 terminal screws. Just one extra for the night light. In the United States, we have a different kind of philosophy about these things than apparently the rest of the world does. But if you'll notice on your electrical plug, one of the prongs is wider than the others, and it'll only go in the wall one way. And the reason for that is the plug with the wide terminal goes all the way up to this screw here, which goes to the shell here. And what that does is if there is no light bulb in the socket, and somebody's unaware of that, they walk up there and they go, well, I'm going to turn on the light. And instead of hitting the key to turn it, they stick their finger here. If they touch the shell, that circuit's effectively dead, and you won't get shocked. If the wires were reversed, then the wire that's supposed to go to the terminal down there in the bottom, it is live. And if you touch it and you happen to be well grounded, as most people are at most times, it will shock you, or worse. I've seen lamps that came from Australia and European countries where when the bulb was taken out of it, a little button would be raised up so that you couldn't actually turn the light on with the light with the bulb out of the socket. There's always more than one way to do something. Now that we have it all together, lamps installed, we'll put in our genuine Gone with the Wind lamp key. Got a nice click sound there, so we've made some improvement. And there he is, big light, little light, off, one, then the other, and then both. This is Bronze Age. On behalf of the Secret Underground Laboratory Recovery and Salvage and Ruidomo, we thank you for watching this video. We'd really appreciate it if you would like to subscribe. Rui really likes the attention. So until next time, thank you very much.